You're watching NewsX. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Our big story this hour: amidst the war in the Middle East, tensions have spilled over to the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden over the past few months. The Houthis and the Somali pirates are disrupting supply chains by hijacking cargo ships. Incidents involving merchant vessels, Chem Pluto and Ruin, have hit global headlines, but the situation has not quelled. On the 4th of January, pirates hijacked the MV Leela Norfolk about 460 nautical miles off Somalia sometime in the evening. While the vessel sent an SOS call to the UK Maritime Trade Operations, it was the Indian Navy that stepped in to rescue the crew on board the ship. In a daring operation, our marine commandos valiantly rescued 21 civilians from about 5 to 6 armed hijackers. This is perhaps the very first time the Indian Navy has executed such an operation in the high seas. Let's in fact take a look at how exactly this was done. So let's first show you how the entire operation actually went about and how it was successfully concluded. Quickly showing you now those details. This, of course, was the aerial recce first done of the MV Leela Norfolk, which was undertaken by the MQ-99B drone. So through a drone, of course, an aerial recce was done of the ship, the P-8 aircraft and the integrated helicopters, also aerially monitoring the situation constantly. And then, of course, the INS Chennai, which remember was dispatched for this location where the hijack took place. The INS Chennai guided missile destroyer arrived at the scene at 3:15 p.m. So this was the scene of action where it arrived by 3:15 p.m. And subsequently, the Indian Navy Marine Commandos boarded the MV Leela Norfolk. And of course, first they undertook a sanitization, a thorough sanitization of the upper deck there. The upper deck was thoroughly sanitized. Then the Marine Commandos team did not find any army pirates though on board. So that's something that they did not find. Any pirates on board who had of course hijacked the ship earlier. Warnings and interception probably compelled the pirates to escape during the night. So obviously the alert had compelled the pirates to escape. Perhaps that's why they were not on board by the time our team reached there. All 21 crew of the MV Leela Norfolk now, of course, rescued by our Navy and are completely safe. Remember, obviously, this hijacking had taken place on the 4th of January and it happened just about 460 nautical miles off the Somalian coast. That's the exact area there where you can see, of course, that's the Somalian coast over there. And the red spot was where the hijack took place. If we talk about this ship, well, it was built in 2006. It's currently sailing under the Liberian flag and the vessel is registered at the Hong Kong port. So that's, of course, those are details about the MV Leela Norfolk. Gross tonnage is about 84,448 tons. And the length of the vessel is 289 meters. The breadth of the vessel is about 45 meters. That's the ship you can see on your screens. Obviously, it was transporting cargo from Brazil to Bahrain. It was on its route when this incident took place. 5 to 6 armed hijackers boarded the ship reportedly. And then, of course, the hijacking took place. So the vessel obviously contacted the UK Maritime Trade Operations, informing them about the hijacking. The UK MTO informed New Delhi then later about the hijacking as well. After that, of course, remember, as we told you, INS Chennai was dispatched to the spot where, of course, the hijacking took place. Obviously, then the daring rescue was carried out and our crew members on board were saved. Take a look at the jubilant reaction of the rescued crew once they were rescued. Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, former Chief Spokesperson Indian Air Force, is joining us live. Also with us is Captain Sham Kumar, Indian Navy Warship Captain. Also with us is Commodore Anil Jai Singh, former Navy officer. Colonel T.P. Tyagi, defense expert, also is joining the broadcast. Welcome all of you and thank you so much for being with us. Wing Commander Bakshi, your first thoughts on how this entire operation was conducted, was carried out by the Indian Navy and by the Indian authorities?
Thank you, Uday. This operation has been, it has highlighted one fact that the world maritime bodies, the navies, have got aware of this predicament of piracy. Of course, piracy has been very old, and Somalian pirates have been operating for a very long time. But the question is, joint operations within the country are yet to be finalized and successfully carried out. But Indian Navy, ever since it's becoming, now changing its, stature, it's becoming a blue water navy. Our patrolling is right from across Malacca Strait, right up to Aden and into the Persian Gulf. Our shipping is now being protected by our navy, and we have the aerial aspects of the P-81 and the drones as well as the ships. But the question is, these pirates are where they are. They know very well that what they can do, and when they are attacked or when they are intercepted by the navies, they know exactly how to escape. They escape in time, and if nobody takes action, they capture the ship, and then starts the negotiation. Now this thing cannot now take place if the navies join together. There have been exercises in our Coast Guard and the navies have been involved in exercise. Especially the proposal was there. There are local countries, all countries which are around Indian Ocean region as well as Asian countries, which have a joint maritime protection force where they can bring in these Coast Guard ships and the patrolling ships, and they ask for special SOS. Now, this ship had to call a United Kingdom company, when knowing fully well that Indian vessels are there and very strong navy like Indian Navy is available. So this aspect can be worked out very well if there is more collaboration and more understanding. The UN clause is also very effective. The training which is given to the Navy as to how to board the ship, what is the action before boarding, what is the action when you are taking over a ship, all these aspects, the humanitarian law aspect, the maritime aspect, everything is taped up. So our Navy, Marcos, which carried out the operation, incidentally, let me tell you one thing, Marcos can be called the double commandos. They are equally good on land and equally good at sea. This is their strong point, and they were missed very badly in the Taj Hotel episode. Had they been called there, they would have done wonders. They would have done very well. But unfortunately, the coordination was there. So it is because of the coordination between the navies and the services, these pirates take an advantage and they get away. Now, one thing more which I'll tell you very important, these pirates are not operating by private bodies. No, they are, if you notice one thing and study without any, hard feelings, you will find that most of them belong to one religious aspect. The countries which are supporting them unofficially, providing them funds, that has been the reason, which we do not come to know and which we are very hesitant to discuss. This is what is there. That is why they are so strong, and that is why they are so well armed, well equipped. Their armament is sometimes at par with the fighting navies. So this is what is another aspect which has to be done. So anti-piracy training and joint operations is required in the Asia-Pacific zone. Once you do it, you will find our sea lanes will be safe, because then the pirates will know there is no getaway from this aspect. This aspect is absolutely necessary. What we saw was a very nice operation conducted to the book. And yes, the pirates ran away. So good luck to that, and good luck to MV Chennai, because what I would like to tell you, the Chennai also had our Chennai city also faced a similar incident with the Italian ship. See, now some merchant ships have been allowed. They carry their own armament. They carry their own guards. There has a special provision when they can carry. Now this has to be worked out very well. But otherwise, there are incidents also, like Italians killed our fishermen off the coast of Chennai. That also becomes very dangerous because they thought they are pirates. So this aspect should also be worked out. So this study has to be a very long and a big study. And as the time will pass, I think, Uday, they will make more advances in this game. But till then, I think we are going on a right path. Thank you, Uday.
All right, Wing Commander Bakshi, stay with us. Let me, in fact, quickly draw in Captain Sham Kumar as well into the conversation. Captain Sham Kumar, this was certainly a very daring operation, but carried out very, very successfully. Overjoyed crew members of that vessel. The videos, I think, say it all. When they were brought to safety, their reactions, their response.
Yes, so it is victory to the political will, the present global impact of Indian oceanic region concerns of India, Indian Navy, and Commanding Officer INS Chennai, who has been a tactical commander for this operation and has taken an independent and well thought over, well known, understood, and under the rules of engagement for which the Indian Navy has been mandated. So the entire operation which has happened because today Indian Navy is carrying out a clear and strong vigil over the entire Indian Oceanic region from East African coast to Malacca Strait. And I must also bring to the notice of all the viewers that Indian Navy being silent service, today we are this triumph we are celebrating, but we must understand Indian Navy has been doing this job for very, very long time. Only thing, medium being at sea, large ocean, and minimum resources. The Navy has been trying its best to maintain the vessel as mandated. Policing at sea is the role of the Navy. And this has been happening for, in fact, piracy operations. 107 ships so far have been deployed since 2007, 8, 9, and 11 onwards. The piracy declined. Naval ships were withdrawn from that area, but North Arabian Sea, Central Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, and Malacca Strait, Bay of Bengal is under the continuous surveillance by long-range maritime patrol aircrafts. Now the drones, the Dornier of Navy and Coast Guard, even we take help of the merchant mercantile for the information. And obviously, the entire thing happens with a lot of coordination by the maritime operations centers at Mumbai, Visakhapatnam, and Cochin, and Maritime Rescue Coordination Center at Mumbai, run by the Coast Guard. So these aspects have now come to the fore because we have seen operation. But this operations, boarding, visit, board, siege, and seizure, BBSS, is just asymmetric threat requirement of peacetime operation of Navy. And this has been professionally done, evident to the entire nation, the world. So therefore, we are looking at in a different light, and definitely it has been a swift reaction. It happened because Indian Navy deployed the frontline warships in the right area, at right place, closest ship, and other multinational forces have the confidence on Indian naval ships to react. We had a Chetak helicopter on board, which is not actually a special operation aircraft. We need a special operation aircraft for such purposes. I am a special operation pilot from Marcos. I've commanded the flight command of the Marcos for 3.5 years. And I've seen these operations very well. So they have done a daredevil attack. They have done a sanitized and brought out the crew safely outside. And it is really a matter of very, very pride for everyone. But we need much more assets, we may need much more fundings onto the naval side. The silent Navy must be bubbling with the resources. Our maritime capability perspective plans must have thrust on more assets to keep a proper vigil on these areas. Else, sometime we may suffer. As brought out, the Indian Navy is going to sanitize each and every boat. They will not run away. All the fishing trawlers, those in that area of responsibility will be now sanitized. Where have they vanished? There should be a deterrence. There should be a repression. There should be a clear message to the pirates because it happened in 2008 to 11, 13, 14. And because of the continuous vigil and coordinated patrol, this died down. Again, in shadow of Hamas support by Houthis and taking the war away from the Israel, there have been some kind of increase in the activities which must be curtailed. There have been many people talking about convoys, extra security for merchant ships. It's very difficult in peacetime to have each and every ship guarded. We had to have deterrence, clear channel of navigation. Freedom of navigation has to be ensured as per UNCLOS. All navies are capable of doing it. There are ships in area. There are ships ashore very close in the harbors. There is enough element. It can be done. And I'm sure pirates will be deterred. There will be no attacks in these areas anymore. And soon there will be a peace prevailing as it happened in previous days. So let us happily celebrate this victory and at the same time continue to sanitize the area, maintain a visual by aircraft, ships, integral halos, and other navies must cooperate together to have a communication. I must also bring it to the notice of everyone. Indian Navy has taken an initiative of Information Fusion Center at Gurgaon, New Delhi, where 42 countries' information officers share their intelligence for merchant maritime traffic. And we carry out the good coordination for waterways, strategic waterways, how the ships are moving, tracking system, their coding system, and sharing the intelligence. We carry out coordinated patrol to keep the area safe. These 2018 onward developments, which is going to be fructifying by 2025 to 26 with good infrastructure at IFC Gurgaon, will see much more security and safety at sea and ensure the seafarers are confident and they are not being affected by any piracy activities or any other drones attack. Indian Navy has two clear mandates laid down now: anti-drone capabilities and safety of ships, and secondly, anti-piracy. Right now, Navy is focusing on this and carrying out changes in their tactics, in their maneuvers, in their stationing of ships, so as to deter or carry out a defense against the drones attack, so that Houthis are kept silent and no piracy activities take place, whether it is Malacca, whether it is African coast, or maybe it is in Guinea. These activities are at many places. The world over, the message is very clear. If you are deterring them, cleaning them, this will not happen. Over to you, Uday.
Okay, let me quickly bring in fact, Commodore Anil Jaisingh as well into the discussion. Commodore Jaisingh, what stood out in this operation for you, the nature of, the way the rescue was conducted and the area in which this hijacking happened?
Yeah, I think it was an extremely well, very efficiently conducted operation. It showed the professionalism of the Indian Navy, very well coordinated, UK MTO. And just to put things in perspective, it is not that these ships contacted UK MTO because they couldn't contact the Indian Navy. It was because UK MTO monitors shipping in that area and is the first, generally the one who reports any such incidents. So that's why UK MTO comes into play. Also, secondly, I'd also like to put in perspective that these pirates are not terrorists. They're pirates. They're not armed with sophisticated weapons. They've all got, AK-47s and things like that. Therefore, what actually the guys who embark the ship or who board the ship are young men who've been sort of brought into this because of poor governance in their own countries, a lack of jobs, lack of livelihoods. It's very easy to sway young men into, give them a Kalashnikov, give them a Toyota SUV, give them a boat, and there's a lot of adrenaline flowing. So the pirates, obviously, the moment they realized that there's a threat to their lives, perhaps, and the Indian Navy decided to sanitize and intercept the ship, obviously it took flight. That's why there were no pirates on board when the Marcos boarded the ship. So I think as an operation, this is extremely well coordinated. The Navy has been doing this for a long time. Anti-piracy has been on since 2008.
Yes.
Piracy was at its peak between 2008 and 2013. We carried out a lot of operations at that time. Not many may have been publicized. There must have been a lot of interceptions and, escorting of ships. But let me also put things in perspective. It's all very well to say that, you can eradicate piracy. Eradication of piracy is not easy for two reasons. Firstly, you're covering a very vast sea area. Secondly, it is not about these young men in skiffs and little boats who go around threatening and boarding ships. It's about what is the origin of piracy? Where is the piracy being financed from? And thirdly, the problem is, as per the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea, there are restrictions on what you can do in another country's territorial waters.
Yes. What
actions you can take on the high seas. It's all very well listed. You can't just go into anyone's waters and do that. In fact, in 2000, when piracy was at its peak, the UN adopted a special Security Council resolution which allowed warships to enter Somali territorial waters. It had to be done at the United Nations level. It wasn't something that a ship could just do. Plus, even commanding officers that see the rules of engagement against piracy are very different from rules of engagement against maritime terrorism. What we have to be very careful, and this is a matter of concern, is that why are these Somali pirates suddenly become active again? We had more or less suppressed piracy of Somalia for the last almost a decade. Is it because they're getting some support from the non-state actors who are operating across the, from Yemen, the Houthi rebels? Or is it that they've just decided that, oh, this is a good time to, revive this whole activity? So there is obviously a nexus, there is a connection somewhere between what is happening as far as piracy is concerned and what is happening as far as the Houthi rebels are attacking ships in the Red Sea. This is something that I think must be already on the radar of various countries trying to probe deeper into it. We'll probably come to know about it subsequently. And this is where I'd like to bring in MV Kem Pluto. Why was a drone attack carried on a ship barely 200 miles from India when it was not even heading towards Israel it was heading in the opposite direction towards India. So this is something again that needs to be, which I'm sure the forensic investigation is going on. We will get to know more about it as facts emerge. But these are two or three, discordant elements which need to be understood as to why these new developments happened and how these need to be nipped in the bud at this stage itself. Otherwise, they could become a problem subsequently and later on when, if they decide, if these pirates find that countries are not really reacting to them, they'll get encouraged, they'll get emboldened to do more, to be more daring and carry out more audacious attacks. So this is something that really needs to be nipped in the bud.
All right. Let me quickly bring in Colonel T.P. Tyagi as well into the conversation. Colonel Tyagi, according to you, what was the high point of this operation, the way it was conducted, of course, by INS Chennai? Also, the spot where this hijacking took place and the safeguards, obviously, that are needed ahead.
This entire operation is a credit to Navy. And this happened because Houthi started attacking the merchant and commercial ships in the Red Sea. Therefore, most of the shipping companies, instead of using the Red Sea, in spite of 10 days extra journey, they started taking route via the Cape of Good Hope and around Africa. And then on the Somalia coast, these sea pirates, they became active. And in Arabian Sea, about 400 nautical miles from the coast of Gujarat, I think, they hijacked the ship. But now the Navy has done, all my co-panelists have explained that yes, a Thai aircraft was brought in, Reaper drone was brought in, INS Chennai was brought in. INS Chennai was brought in basically for power generation and propulsion. But all these activities have been shown. I want to bring out the effect. The effect is this. It is only Indian Navy which has controlled the sea piracy in this case. It is a good suggestion that let most of the countries join and make a joint force for controlling the sea piracy. One of the co-panelists brought out that in Gurgaon there is a information fusion center of about 42 countries. It's a good step in this direction. But whatever has happened has sent a very loud and clear message. And the message is this, that India cares for its people. This message started from Yemen. It traveled through Ukraine. And it also traveled to Uttarakhand, where 41 miners were trapped in a tunnel and they were brought out after a long operation. And similarly here in the crew, where there were 15 Indians, and for that India took the lead. Yes, it has been brought out that it was the British portal where the SOS signal was sent. And India, when it was alerted, so India took the lead and did it. But now, the thing is, success, nothing succeeds like success. India's success is mounting, is compounding. You see now, even though a communist nation are considered to be the enemy of India, China's Global Times is saying that India is emerging as a global power. that India is doing excellently good coordination and good connection with opposite countries like Russia, like America. So this means that India has now to take the lead of making a protective arrangement in the sea led by India to control and to check and to finish or to minimize the sea piracy. This operation has given a credit and it's an achievement. It is an achievement worth celebration. You have seen it. The crew were saying Bharat Mata ki Jai and Indian Navy, we are proud of you. So this is a good thing and it is consistently happening. In many of the places it is happening. So the entire world community is developing a faith in the credibility of India, not only the successes achieved by India, but also the capability of liaison, of diplomacy, of having a multinational connection and emerging as a Vishu power, a world power. I think such operations, such incidents may not occur further, but that we cannot see. Because very recently, a ship was attacked with a drone, and earlier to that, another ship which was coming to India was considered to be aligned to Israel in the Red Sea. That was also attacked. So 2, 3, 4. Now there have been about 4 incidents. But this incident will prove that the further escalation may not take place now. That's what I feel so. And congratulations to the Indian Navy team and proud of our country and Navy.
Yes, okay. Wing Commander Bakshi, I'll leave you the last word.
Thank you, Uday. This aspect has been studied by in all over, especially Singapore has conducted various exercises and studies, and they have found out that whenever the political and economic situations are unstable in the region, the piracy rises. And that is why, as our co-finalists have also suggested, that the countries must get together in various forms and forums and bring out their significances and limitations as to what can be done to overcome these shortages. And as I told you, Asia Pacific Union is coming up. It is giving a very serious thought to fighting the piracy, fighting the piracy, especially the littoral countries around the Indian Ocean region and up to Persian Gulf. All countries are very well aware of this problem, and that joint operations will be done. And this aspect will carry us forward. Thank you, Dave.
All right. Yes, Captain Kumar, quickly. Yeah.
Yes, see, I must add to this, the multilateral initiative by India is not only by the Quad, it is also by the Indian Oceanic Region Symposium.
Okay.
Every year we are having a naval chiefs meeting together, about almost 25 countries meeting together in Southeast Asia now and discussing about perceptions. Secondly, the Milan. The 52 navies operate together, Visakhapatnam in February, we are going to see that. And these are not happening for anything else other than to have joint forces against joint threats, asymmetric threats developing like this. So Indian Navy has taken
so we are prepared. We are prepared. And this is obviously a threat that we will have to continue to counter. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.